Hello there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Channel I. I'm Sharon Muscreen News.
A very good evening, I'm Lakshit Singha. We start off by taking a look at the top stories for tonight. A Sri Lankan national serving an Italian ship brought back on the orders of the president. A German female in the ship has also been brought for treatment in the country. The president says people are being provided relief without differences in the midst of difficulties. The number of corona patients increases to 178. Special Operational Center of the Presidential Task Force on Essential Services remain open 24 hours of the day. The balance of the Health and Social Conservation Fund reaches 380 million rupees. A request to engage in religious observances on the Poya Day tomorrow according to health safety regulations. Corona-related deaths in Italy and Spain decline. On to those and other stories in detail. The government has taken measures today to admit with safety to Sri Lanka a Sri Lankan national who was in a luxury passenger ship travelling from Australia to Italy. This was an outcome of a request made through social media to bring back to the island a youth named Anura Bandara Herath who was engaged in duties on board. The operation has been conducted through the advice of Navy Commander Vice Admiral Pial de Silva under the approval of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Nearly a crew of 2,700 on board of the ultra-luxury yacht MSE Magnifica, which had departed on a world tour on the 5th of January this year, had already left the vessel. The world tour was abandoned in Australia as a result of the worldwide spread of the corona pandemic. Later on, the ship was compelled to leave for Italy as not a single harbour had allowed the ship to enter their ports. The ship was scheduled to come near the Colombo harbour this morning for procurement of fuel and other supplies. Only Sri Lankan employee in the ship, Anura Bandara Herath, taking this opportunity, has requested through social media for his return to Sri Lanka. He was working as a chef in the ship.
ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාගෙනොත් අගමැතිතුමාගෙනොත් සහාය බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. මොකද අප නෞකාවෙන් මට ලංකාවට එන්න බැරි වුණොත් නැවත යුරෝපයට ගියාට පස්සේ එන එක ඉතාම අපහසු වෙනවා. මම ඉතා කාරුණිකව ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා හැකියාවක් තිබෙනවා නම් ශ්‍රී ලංකා වරාය තුලින් මාව ලබා ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරන ලෙස.
The Sri Lankan employee was brought ashore at dawn today through the intervention of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and on the instructions of Navy Commander Vice Admiral Pial de Silva. The Navy came near the ship, which has arrived at a distance of 4.4 nautical miles from the Colombo harbour. At this instance, the unit dealing with chemical, biological, radiological and emergency responding on nuclear accidents has taken measures to bring the Sri Lankan national safely to the island. The Sri Lankan youth was subject to a comprehensive sterilization program within the port premises itself, adhering to relevant safety procedures upon informing of the COVID-19 Prevention Presidential Task Force. Thereafter, the youth was transferred for a 21-day quarantine at the Busa Quarantine Centre. Employee Anura Bandara Herath is a resident of Imuldeniya, Dowlagala in Kandy. In addition, the Navy has also In addition, the Navy has also taken measures to bring to shore a 75-year-old German female inmate of the luxury line suffering from heart ailment. This was a sensitive instance of display of the human nature of Sri Lankans to the world. The Sri Lankan Navy is entrusted with the responsibility of aiding any ship that needs help under the international laws and conventions. However, the Navy has gone beyond the limits of duties and to treat the ailing German female national with humane kindness. The patient was immediately admitted to the National Hospital.
In other stories, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says relief is being provided to the masses without any differences in the midst of difficulties. He made these remarks at a discussion at the President's office this afternoon. Attention has been focused on this occasion on the situation that has risen with the spread of the coronavirus. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well as Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa presided over the event. The President has pointed out how the government has acted with responsibility, taking into consideration of the warnings of the World Health Organization. Several immediate measures have been taken into the interest of the people, overtaking the activities of other countries in this regard. President has pointed out how the necessary measures were taken from closing down of schools and universities to daily maintenance of essential services. As a result, the government was able to control the spread of the COVID-19 disease. Specialist advice was always followed and the entire state sector, including health and security, was linked with the private sector mechanism. Investigations are being conducted continuously to detect patients afflicted with the virus as well as those who maintain contacts with such patients based on specialist medical instructions. The measures enables to identify the afflicted persons in advance. Quarantine activities are taking place in 40 centres. Measures have been taken to prevent the spread of the virus in areas where patients were detected with the assistance of the public health inspectors as well. The President has also appreciated the role played by the PHIs to control the disease condition. Representatives of the Samagi Janabalawegaya who took part in the discussion have commended the measures taken by the President. Both the government and the SJP have agreed that the program should be carried forward without political and other differences. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has pointed out that if there was any shortcoming in the government program or it has caused any injustice to any person, immediate attention will be focused in this connection. Both the President as well as the leader of the Samagi Janabalawegaya have requested to focus the attention of relevant service providers on those who have arrived to provide numerous services on daily wages but who were unable to return to their villages. It has also been disclosed at the meeting that a large stock of necessary medicines on non-infectious diseases and other drugs for relevant daily health services imported from India is scheduled to arrive in the island tomorrow. The President further said that plans have already been made to accustom to an economic methodology suited to the country by taking into consideration of the economic and social condition faced by the entire world. The President further said that the government is in the process of receiving specialist advice to uplift the government and tourism industries facing a drawback. Measures have also been taken to provide a 5,000 rupee allowance to a group exceeding 700,000 persons, including Samruddhi beneficiaries, adults, disabled and kidney patients. Head of the Presidential Task Force, Basil Rajapaksa, said on this occasion that those who do not receive the allowance are able to receive their entitlements by filing an appeal through the respective Grama Niladaris. In other stories, except for the districts which have been identified as high-risk zones in terms of the spread of the coronavirus, curfew was lifted in the other districts at 6 a.m. today and reimposed at 2 p.m. on the same day. The Presidential Media Division issuing a communique says the curfew imposed in these districts will be lifted again at 6 a.m. on Thursday, the 9th, and reimposed at 4 p.m. on the same day. High-risk areas in which the coronavirus has a potential of spreading are Colombo, Gampa, Kalutara, Puttalam, Kandy and Jaffna districts. The imposed curfew in these districts will be effective until further notice. It has also been declared yesterday that the period starting today till next Friday is considered as a week for employees to engage in their duties from their homes. Movement between districts when curfew is imposed is totally prohibited except for essential services. The law will be strictly enforced against those found misusing the measures put in place to carry out essential services efficiently. Steps have been taken to facilitate the public with door-to-door sales of essential food items and other commodities when curfew is in force. Those who are involved in farming and the cultivation of tea and other export crops can continue with their agricultural activities as the imposed curfew will not be an obstruction. Meanwhile, issuing a release, the President's Media Division states that the week from tomorrow to this Friday has also been declared a work-from-home week for both the government and the private sector. DIG Ajit Rohan has said that it has been found out that the general public in some areas were acting contravening the laws at times of the curfew as well as times when the curfew is relaxed. The government has focused stern action on this fact. The DIG also informs the people that it will compel to take more stringent measures if they are acted against the law in such occasions. 171 persons have been arrested in the past 6 hours over breaking the curfew. 86 vehicles have also been taken into custody. 14,966 persons have been taken into custody on charges of violating the curfew since 6 p.m. on the 20th of last month when the curfew was introduced till 12 noon today. The number of vehicles apprehended by the police during this period amounted to 3,751. Large crowds were seen in Dematagoda today despite withdrawal of curfew in the Colombo district. The reason being that many boutiques in the area have been kept open. The police have dispersed the crowds as such unsecured assembly of people poses problems. A person who has illegally entered a pharmacy in Navalapitiya during curfew hours was reported to have stolen a stock of medicinal tablets. The value of the loot is reported to be around 11,000 rupees. The Navalapitiya police station is conducting investigations on the robbery using security cameras. The Horana police has conducted a special operation last night in search of those who loiter in by roads in the area during curfew hours. Meanwhile, similar special search operations were conducted last night in Mount Lavania Police Division as well. Our correspondent says a large number of suspects who have disobeyed the curfew were taken into custody. The Novarelia police station has taken into custody 2 suspects who kept in their possession 100 bottles of liquor manufactured in a foreign country without a permit. A luxury jeep was also apprehended in this connection. Our correspondent says that the contraband was being transported from Nanuaya to Pusella, Gampola. Meanwhile, 4 suspects who have been conducting illicit brewery in Hinguragoda have also been taken into custody. It has also been reported that the unauthorized factory was located in Protectorate in Kudagama in Unagalavera in Hinguragoda Police Division.
Now, the number of COVID-19 patients recorded in the country has increased to 178 by today. Meanwhile, a further 217 persons who have ended quarantine have left for their homes today. 2 patients were confirmed today to be COVID-19 patients. Specialist physician Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that one person was a 3-wheel driver in Jayala. He was reported to have maintained many contacts. Discussions were conducted with him over these relationships. The other victim is a 30-year-old woman from Putlam. The Health Promotion Bureau says that 38 patients were reported to have been completely cured by today. 5 deaths have also been reported. 137 patients confirmed to be infected with the corona disease are still undergoing treatment in hospitals at the IDH in Angoda, the Valikanda Base Hospital and the Mulleriava Base Hospital. Medical investigations are also being conducted regarding 257 more suspected corona patients. The highest number of patients have been reported from the Colombo, Putlam, Kalutara and Gampaha districts. The Ministry of Health says measures have also been taken to increase the number of laboratory examinations on the COVID-19 disease. Specialist physician Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that they are conducting 3 times more than the investigations that had been conducted a week ago. The numbers are to be further increased. He added that currently they are using the PCR test to detect the virus. They hope to introduce the rapid test as well.
පරීක්ෂණයයි ඒකම රැපිඩ් ටෙස්ට් වශයෙන් විශාල වශයෙන් කතා වෙන පරීක්ෂණය අප විසින් දැන් වැලිඩේට් කරනවා අපිට ලැබෙන ඒ ටෙස්ට් කිට්ස් හරහා.
Meanwhile, the Health Ministry reiterates that the social distancing should be further maintained. Specialist physician Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that they find that people have a good understanding of the situation. They have a responsibility not to cover up patients. Such an act would cause irreparable damage to them, their children and relatives.
ඔබේ දරුවන්ට ඔබේ ඥාතීන්ට සමහර විට මේ රෝගය හරහා විශාල අවඩක් සිදුවන්නට පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා කිසිසේත්ම මේ තොරතුරු ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමේදී කුමන සංවේදී කාරණාවක් තිබුණත් කරුණාකරලා ඒ අදහස් නිවැරදිව ලබා දෙන ලෙස අපි ඉතා ඕනෑකමින් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
Telephone numbers have been introduced to receive necessary instructions from home in the event of showing disease symptoms of COVID-19. The number is 1999, is opened in this connection. Those who are in need of arriving at a hospital should contact the Suas Area Ambulance Service number 1390. A special discussion comprising of all sectors of Ayurvedic and indigenous physicians and homeopathy divisions was held today at the National Action Centre to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, 3,386 persons who have ended quarantine in 40 centres throughout the island have already left for their homes. A batch of 217 persons have also ended quarantine today. The group included 203 persons who underwent treatment at the Mullativ Quarantine Centre. They have arrived from India. Another 24 persons at the Bogoda Quarantine Centre have ended quarantine. They were returnees from Dambadiva pilgrimage. 3 persons of the Kundasale Quarantine Centre and 11 persons at the Bursa Quarantine Centre have also ended quarantine today.
මේ නිරෝධායන කටයුතු නිමා වී යන අයවලුන් සියලු දෙනාටම අපි දැනුම් දීලා තිබෙනවා දින 14ක ඔවුන්ගේ නිවෙස්වල ස්වයං නිරෝධායන ලක් වෙන්න කියලා මේක ඉතාමත්ම අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ඉතින් ඒකින්දා ඔවුන් දින 14ක් නිවෙස්වල නිරෝධායන කටයුතු වල නියැලෙන්න ඕනේ. සමහර ස්ථාන වලින් මේ දින 14 නිරෝධායන කටයුතු වල කඳවුරු වලින් යන අයවලුන් නිවසකට ගියාම ඔවුන්ගේ නිවසටම නිරෝධායන වෙන්න කියලා යම් අයවගේ උපදෙස් ලැබිලා දිනවා කියලා මේ විය යුක්තක් නැහැ. ඔවුන් පමණක් දින 14ක නිරෝධායන ලක් විය යුතුයි.
6 nurses and 4 mine employees of the Apeksha Hospital Mahargama have also been quarantined. The reason is the arrival of a corona-infected person to the hospital last Friday. He has arrived from Orgodavatta. The suspected patient was admitted to the Homagama base hospital. Tests are confirmed that he was COVID-19 patient.
මේ රෝහල ඇතුළට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් රෝගීන් ඉන්න පැත්තට නෙමෙයි යන්න හම්බෙන්නේ. ඔහුගේ හදිසි ප්‍රතිකාරංශයට පිළිකා රෝහල කියන්නේ ඊටාම ඒ කියන්නේ රෝග වලට ඔරොත්තු දෙන ශක්තිය අඩු පිරිසක් ඉන්න තැන. අපි ඊටාමත් තදබල ලෙස ආරක්ෂකකම අනුගමනය කරනවා. මෙහෙම මිනිස්සුන්ව දැනුවත් කරලා
Meanwhile, further contributions amounting to 66 million rupees have been made to the COVID-19 Health and Social Conservation Fund. The balance has reached 380 million rupees. Minister Gamini Lokuge has donated 10 million rupees to the COVID-19 fund. Minister Dalasalha Peruma has also contributed his salary for the month of April for the fund. The two ministers made the contributions to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The National Lotteries Board has provided 25 million rupees. The National Savings Bank and the Ceylon Electricity Board Engineering Association has provided 2.5 million rupees to the COVID fund. The Land Reforms Commission has contributed 2 million rupees and the Maliban Biscuits Manufacturing Institute 10 million rupees. The Matara Bodhi Protection Council 1 million rupees. The Nature's Beauty Creation Institute 5 million rupees. Any information regarding contributions could be made from Director General Administration KB Egodavela through telephone numbers 011 235 4479 and 011 235 4354.
Meanwhile, the government has taken measures to continuously maintain industries relating to Sri Lanka's major exports, tea, coconut and rubber. Addressing a media briefing at the Government Information Department today, the minister further said that necessary freedom has been provided for the export crops, which are major income earners, at a meeting headed by the head of the Special Task Force on Essential Services, Basil Rajapaksa, recently. He further said that the freedom has also been granted for the rubber industries as well. He also said that freedom has also been given for cane and cashew export crops as well. The minister further said that more world attention has been focused on the quality black tea, which is popular beverage in eastern countries, including Sri Lanka. And now, France and Italy recorded their lowest death toll from the coronavirus in 1 and 2 weeks, respectively, with Germany and Spain also experiencing a decline in daily tallies related to the spread of the coronavirus. Globally, the death toll from COVID-19, the respiratory illness caused by the new virus, has crossed 70,000, while the number of infections rose to 1.28 million. The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has affected 208 countries and territories around the world and 2 international conveyances. More than 250,000 people have recovered from the coronavirus. The USA has reported 337,646 confirmed infections and 9,648 deaths from COVID-19, by far the highest tally in the world. The U.S. Surgeon General, meanwhile, warned that this week will be the hardest and saddest week of most American lives. However, New York, the epicenter of the U.S. outbreak, reported a drop in the number of new infections and deaths, recording only 594 new deaths, with an overall tally of 4,159 deaths in the state. Spain has reported over 5,000 new cases of the coronavirus, with 674 new deaths. The fourth day, the daily totals have declined from the previous day. The total deaths in the country from COVID-19 as of today stand at 13,055 among 135,032 cases. The new numbers offer another glimmer of hope in Europe after the death toll in Italy at its lowest in more than 2 weeks and its infection curve finally on a downward slope. Italy has recorded 525 deaths in the past 24 hours, increasing the total tally to 15,887, while the number of confirmed cases in the country has escalated to 128,948. European shares bounced today. A slowdown in the coronavirus deaths raised hopes that nationwide lockdowns were starting to show results. Italian FTMI and the French FCHI bourses jumped to 3.2% and 3.6% respectively. Confirmed COVID-19 cases in France increased by 2,886 within 1 day to 92,839. The total number of deaths has increased to 8,078 in the country at present. Germany recorded 3,677 new coronavirus infections in the past 24 hours, marking the fourth straight drop in the daily rate of new cases. At least 1,584 people have died from COVID-19 in Germany, while the total number of confirmed cases now stands at 100,132. Russia's coronavirus case tally has risen to 6,343 in the past 24 hours and a record daily increase of 954, where Moscow remains the epicenter of the outbreak with 591 new cases, with at least 47 people who have died across the country. Japan is to declare a state of emergency in Tokyo and 6 other prefectures as early as tomorrow in a bid to stop the coronavirus, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has said, with the government preparing a stimulus package to soften the economic blow. 3,654 people have tested positive for the coronavirus in Japan and 85 have died. Indians, meanwhile, have turned off their lights for a nationwide candlelit vigil, heeding a call for unity by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the country battles coronavirus. India has recorded 4,314 confirmed cases in total, with 118 deaths in the country.
Battling the coronavirus and with a persisting high fever, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been admitted to the hospital, Downing Street said, as Queen Elizabeth gives a rare televised address. Britain has reported 47,806 confirmed cases at present, with 4,934 deaths in the country.
I still have a temperature.
After battling the coronavirus for 10 days and with a persistent high temperature, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been admitted to the hospital for treatment, Downing Street said. He was admitted as a precautionary step advised by his doctor, according to the BBC. News of the Prime Minister's hospitalization comes just hours after a rare televised address to UK citizens by Queen Elizabeth, who conveyed a rallying spirit that harkened back to World War II.
Together we are tackling this disease, and I want to reassure you that if we remain united and resolute, then we will overcome it.
The Queen thanked those who were staying at home while acknowledging self-isolation could be difficult.
I am speaking to you at what I know is an increasingly challenging time. A time of disruption in the life of our country. a disruption that has brought grief to some, financial difficulties to many, and enormous changes to the daily lives of us all. We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
Johnson, who was revealed to have tested positive on March 27th, was seen late last week applauding the country's health service from his front door. He has been working from home for the past 10 days, most recently chairing a meeting via video conference on Friday. In the United Kingdom, there are more than 41,000 cases of COVID-19 and some 4,300 fatalities, according to a Reuters tally.
Meanwhile, the total number of confirmed cases in China has increased to 81,708, recording only 39 cases in the past 24 hours, with 3,331 deaths in the country thus far. Meanwhile, China had a significant increase in nitrogen dioxide pollution in cities like Beijing during February, when factories and streets were closed.
Beijing is usually known for gridlock traffic and a grey haze of pollution hugging the tops of skyscrapers. But one silver lining of the lockdown in China's capital city has been the newly crisp clarity of the air. Locals like Lu Qian are savouring every minute of it.
I could see stars in the sky at night when I was around Shangdi Park. It feels like the air is overall much less polluted than it used to be. It also improves people's mood.
Greenpeace activist Lin Lu has been monitoring the levels closely and says the pollutant emission numbers have dropped by more than 40% year-on-year in February.
From monthly data analysis, we can see the biggest drop in nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide particulate matter in the whole country in February.
Among the factors that fueled the jump in air quality were the widespread shutdown of factories and closure of streets, cutting the number of cars on the roads. However, experts warn the air pollution and carbon emissions may soon reappear as Chinese factories reopen and ramp up output.
Meanwhile, Greece has quarantined a second migrant camp yesterday after a 53-year-old man tested positive for the coronavirus, according to Greek authorities. This move has been made as the total number of confirmed cases in the country has escalated to 1,735, with 73 deaths.
Greece has quarantined a second migrant camp on its mainland after a 53-year-old man tested positive for the new coronavirus. The country's migration ministry said the Afghan patient lives with his family at the Malakasa camp, along with hundreds of asylum seekers. He's been transferred to a hospital in Athens. The move comes just a few days after authorities also quarantined the Ritsona camp in central Greece after 20 people there tested positive for COVID-19. More than 110,000 people live in migrant facilities across the country, with 40,000 in overcrowded camps on 5 islands. Aid groups have urged the government to evacuate such facilities amid fears that fast-moving virus will spread rapidly in the squalid and crowded conditions. Greece has reported more than 1,600 cases of COVID-19 and dozens of deaths. It's imposed a nationwide lockdown and banned arrivals from non-EU countries, as well as Germany, Britain, Italy and Spain, measures that have hit its tourism-reliant economy.
We turn towards a few more stories from home. The Special Operational Center of the Presidential Task Force on Essential Services remains open throughout the day. The center is engaged in follow-up studies of problems encountered by the people in receiving services as well as on coordination of necessary measures. The operational center is located at the Temple Trees. The center requests the general public to submit their complaints and proposals regarding problems on provision of essential services in their respective areas through the direct telephone line 011 3456 200 or through the fax numbers 011 2333 066 or 011 4354 882. Complaints and requests could also be made through email address ptf@pmoffice.gov.lk.
The government has taken measures to provide the elderly allowance, the allowance on senior citizens above the age of 100 years, the disability allowance and the kidney allowance from today. The relevant payments are being through the Gramaniladharis of the respective areas. The provision of the 5,000 rupee allowance for those in the waiting list of the allowance of the disabled persons has commenced today. There are 72,000 persons eligible for the allowance and there are 38,491 persons in the waiting list. The provision of the 5,000 rupee allowance for kidney patients has also commenced today. 25,320 kidney patients are entitled for the allowance. There are 13,849 patients in the waiting list. Accordingly, there are 39,169 kidney patients seeking allowances. A further 3,000 rupee allowance has been provided for adults over 70 years, in addition to the 2,000 rupee payment already provided for this month. $645,179 pensioners are entitled for pensions through state, private and rural banks as well as through cooperative societies. Director General of Pensions Jagat Dias says that pensions for the month of May will also be provided in this manner. He said that nearly 75% of the pensioners have already received their salaries. He added that the department is hoping to provide the pensions for the month of May in the same manner.
The Army, the Navy and the police have jointly organized island-wide musical programs for mental relaxation of the general public in their homes. The Army, Navy and police bands have conducted such musical concerts in several areas, including Colombo last night.
Meanwhile, the Registrar of the Askiriya chapter, the Venerable Madagama Dhammanandan Thera, requests Buddhist devotees to engage in religious observances in their homes of the full moon Poya day tomorrow. The Venerable Thera says the general public must act in accordance with the orders and the health safety regulations of the government. Register of the Askiriya chapter, Venerable Madagama Dhammananda Thera, says that he calls upon especially on the Buddhists to obey the health protection regulations at this time of epidemic. He also says that the individuals must look after their own safety and act in a manner to safeguard the health of the society. Measures have been taken to telecast live the Poya Day religious programs of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation from the corporation premises. The program begins with the observance of the Atasil at 6 a.m. Thereafter, a Buddha Puja will take place, followed by a brief sermon by the Venerable Pannala Jnana Lokathera. The Dhamma Sarati Dhamma discussion will be conducted by Venerable Dr. Mavarale Badhya Thera. The Sadham Yatra Dhamma sermon will be delivered by Venerable Dr. Olangavatte Chandrasiri Thera. This will be taped programs and it will telecast through the day.
And that's all the stories we have for you tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.